So what we've learned here so far is that negativity and self-criticism can be harmful to your goal achievement. Don't worry, be happy. You'll get further along in life and reach those lofty goals you always dreamed of reaching. Don't let others get you down, and don't be so hard on yourself. If you are, you'll have a much harder time reaching those goals you've been working on for such a long time. So since we've determined that criticism and self-critique can affect your own goal achievement, let's explore how stress can affect a person's mood and their physiological responses to different stressors like sleep deprivation. As college kids, we're under stress at almost all times, from school, jobs, friendships, and family relationships. These days, every college kid should feel accomplished for not only graduating with a degree, but also managing the stress in between all the chaos of college life. Really, stress can greatly affect our psyche, and the stress of our brains and on our emotions can lead to a physical reaction as well. Sleep deprivation has a particular effect on human health, both mental and physical. Sleep is one of the most important facets to human health, and for college kids, the most sacred part of a Saturday morning. Without sleep, the human brain cannot recover and restore from events and activation throughout a period of time without rest. Have you ever been to a sleepover or been up late with work or with a sick friend and just not had enough sleep? Going through a day without enough sleep makes your whole self feel like a ton of weight to carry around. Grumpiness, heavy eyelids, and slow cognitive function just make you feel like you're dragging through the day. Besides the irritability and the exhaustion brought on, scientists have explored the exact physiological responses to sleeplessness and the specific effects on the brain and the emotional states. One such article studied the effects of one night without sleep on stress and mood when subjected to low and high stress cognitive tests. What the researchers found was unsurprising. Sleep deprivation led to greater subjective stress, anxiety, and anger following low stressor and high stressor conditions. High stressor situations elevated negative mood and stress for those who had not been sleep deprived for the study as well. The researchers conclude that sleep deprivation lowers the psychological threshold for the perception of stress for cognitive demands. This could explain the stress college students are under through their college years. Without that extra sleep, especially during finals week, stress on exams increases and the general mood on campus dips below its normal cheerfulness. So a note to all you college kids right now listening, get your sleep. You'll feel much better during your exams this week, and you'll do much better on finals. Dream of good grades and making dean's lists. It'll really help you in the long run. Since we know what stress can do to mood and performance on cognitive tasks, let's look at cardiovascular effects that can be caused by emotional stress. In one study, researchers chose to investigate the roles of cardiovascular activity and the negative affect on the attributions of men. Researchers chose to use math tasks and interactions with women to measure affect and cardiovascular changes in their subjects. They found that inducing cardiovascular activity and the accompanying negative affect can increase men's negative perceptions of neutral female behavior. The study shows us that cardiovascular activity and negative affect can dictate the perceptions of neutral events or interactions. Essentially, the crabby mood you find yourself in can affect your cardiovascular functions, either increasing or decreasing blood flow and respiration rates, which then can change the way you interact with others. Not only can your mood bring yourself down, but it can affect others too, like Rodney the trainer from Bridesmaids.
Let's go, sit up. Looking like pieces of bacon on a plate. Disgusting. Smell the fat.
He scares me. Oh, me too. But he's an excellent motivator. Oh, it's true.
What are you looking at?
Oh, shit, he sees us. Oh, God.
Hey, if you want to take this class, you're going to have to pay for it like the rest of these.
Oop, yeah, he's angry. So to keep y'all from getting into perpetual states of the blues and maybe boost your already grumpy state of mind due to finals, let's talk about recovery from negative affective states. For myself, the most effective way to cure any grumpy mood is a trip to the gym or a jog around the park. Cuddling with my dog is also a cure-all for my blue days. Some people choose food, others choose alone time or time with friends. There are all kinds of ways to unwind and de-stress. Science has done a little research to find out what the brain does when deconstructing stress from self-deception to conscientiousness. First, we'll go over what self-deception is and how we use it to recover from our funks. Maybe you can pick up on some points for your future slumps. This soundbite comes from a TED Talk given by Michael Shermer, the founder and publisher of Skeptic Magazine, which debunks myths, conspiracies, and the paranoias of the public by using science and reason to come to more plausible truths. Here, he talks about the human tendency to find value in unreasonable patterns, or how self-deception has become a natural behavior for human beings.
We have a belief engine in our brains. Essentially, We are pattern-seeking primates. We connect the dots. A is connected to B, B is connected to C, and sometimes A really is connected to B. And that's called association learning. We find patterns. We make those connections, whether it's Pavlov's dog here associating the sound of the bell with the food, and then he salivates to the sound of the bell, or whether it's a Skinnerian rat in which he's having an association between his behavior and a reward for it, and therefore he repeats the behavior. In fact, what Skinner discovered is that if you put a pigeon in a box like this and he has to press one of these two keys and he tries to figure out what the pattern is, and you give him a little reward in the hopper box there, if you just randomly assign rewards such that there is no pattern, they will figure out any kind of pattern, and whatever they were doing just before they got the reward, they repeat that particular pattern. Sometimes it was even spinning around twice counterclockwise, once clockwise, and peck the key twice. And that's called superstition, and that, I'm afraid, we will always have with us. I call this process patternicity, that is, the tendency to find meaningful patterns in both meaningful and meaningless noise.
Mr. Shermer said that through association learning, humans have found ways to cope with negative states by finding patterns in both meaningful and meaningless noise. Those coping mechanisms are examples of self-deception, which is the process of denying or rationalizing away the relevance, significance, or importance of opposing evidence and logical truth. Sometimes these patterns can actually help us out of a funky mood, like a jog around the campus. The added health benefits are also important. Some self-deceptions can be detrimental to our survival, however, so it's important that we learn to acknowledge our bad moods and the things that cause them, so that we can find a true relief mechanism to bounce back. Which leads us to how conscientiousness can be your best tool for recovery from negative affect. According to science, recovery from negative affect can be predicted by an individual's level of conscientiousness. According to a study completed this year, this makes sense in that one who's more self-aware of emotional states will have greater recovery from negative states. Of course, there are personality traits that are individual to each person, but perhaps there are ways to train our minds to quickly recognize negative emotional states. The study came from the University of Wisconsin and showed that the measures of conscientiousness and self-control predicted greater recovery from negative emotional stimuli. In other words, a person's level of self-awareness and self-control can help a person recover more readily to negative states of emotion. Learning to recognize negativity in our moods and the effect it has on our productivity can, in fact, be the first step to recovering from the blues. Hopefully, you've taken a lot from today's Psych Nugget of info from the O Show. We learned that negative affect can cause both physiological stress and bring your psychological state to a low level of achievement and self-esteem, which can also affect the feelings of others. Ways to escape the funky feelings of sadness, anxiety, nervousness, and general down-in-the-dump feelings are finding positive recovery methods, like productive and non-life-threatening self-deception, and learning to be more self-aware of feelings and moods that can bring you down. The quickest way to get up is to recognize and find a way to channel energy and effort to be more productive and achieve the goals you've got your heart set on. In all, negative affect can be detrimental, and nothing good really comes of it. So always look on the bright side and for ways to feel better. Your mind, body, and spirit, and your friends and family will honestly thank you. So that's it for today's O Show Psych Nugget. I'm Hannah, and I'm signing off. Special thank yous go out to our contributors, both of scientific material and of entertainment value. Look for our list of sources on the website if you want more information.